Hello and welcome back to the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely insane week. Thank you all so much. Everyone who subscribed, everyone who's watched the most recent video and dropped a comment to say some really nice words. I can't appreciate you enough. It's been insane. I've said it in my most recent video. I'm saying it again today. The YouTube community really is full of just really wonderful people, and I am absolutely just blown away by the support that I've received. So thank you all so much. But I'm going to bring you today something really quite cool. But before I do want to let you know that I am working on some more videos, some more like scripted videos where I'll go away, I'll do some deep dives on whether or not it's Fallout, so we can do a Fallout Friday. That is the plan for the Fridays. But I also want to deep dive into some other things, other games, other genres, and different things that I'm passionate about and that I can bring you guys some real energy with it. So yeah, that is the plan going forward. But today I've got something that I've had for a little while now and I haven't had a chance to show you, and I really want to show you what it is. And I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek. So here it is. This is from Super7. It is their Simpsons collection, and what's inside of here is absolutely insane. When I first received it and opened it up, I was blown away with just how cool this thing is. But I've not opened it yet. I've left it completely sealed, and today is going to be the day that we finally break it open and get it out. And there are some fiddly bits in here, so it is going to be quite an insane little thing to get out. But I really want to show you guys what is inside of here. So I'm going to keep it a secret for just a moment. I'm going to take it over to the desk and we'll crack it open. But once again, thank you all so much, and I'll see you guys over in the corner. Right then, here we are. We have ourselves our Super 7 Simpsons collection, and as you can see by here, it says Deep Space Homer, which should give you a bit of a clue of what is inside of here. But let's just chuck it to the back so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about. And there he is in all of his glory. We have Deep Space Homer. Now I'm going to pull off the big sleeve. Now this isn't the biggest desk that I'm working with, so I am kind of struggling, but here is what is inside the box itself. Now, this is absolutely insane, and I haven't even got into the box yet, but I can see everything that's going on. We've got the crisps here from where he's floating about and he's trying to grab all the crisps, where he's opened the crisps inside the space shuttle, and he's trying to make sure they don't go into all the buttons and all the machinery. You've even got the bag of chips here. You've got a rod of I think it's uranium in it, or is uranium? It's definitely uranium, whatever. And then we've got a pretty opposable, or just posable. Opposable is, I think, if you're an enemy of something. You've got an opposable you've got opposable Homer Simpson, and then you've got some faces to change, some hands to change, and then on the back here it gives you some information. So it is Deep Space Homer from Season 5, Episode 15. The original air date was February 24th, 1994, which is insane because I wasn't even a year old yet. And that is actually quite mind-boggling. I thought it was actually much more recent than that. So that just goes to show how long The Simpsons has been about. But what we're going to do today is we're actually going to crack into this. I was going to keep this sealed, but I want to get this out because there's something about this that just makes me want to get it out and try and move him around and see if he is posable enough for like stop motion. So I did animation in university. And I actually ended up doing traditional animation, which is 2D animation. But I planned to go in to do stop motion. But if I'm being honest with you, the jobs in stop motion aren't quite as there as they are for traditional and 3D. So unfortunately, I did decide to go down the route of traditional animation. And I kind of regret that. I do kind of regret that because I do think stop motion is an art form that is kind of being neglected this day and age. As much as it is still used, it is far less used than it used to be, and it's probably because it costs so much to do and it spends. It's a very time-consuming art form. So unfortunately, there is less work for stop motion artists, and there's less contracted work for stop motion artists. You tend to have one project that you do, and then once you do the project, you're kind of out of work for a little while. So that was really speaking my biggest concern. But pulling him outside the box right now, I'm just going to grab him initially. I don't think there's anything holding him in, is there? There is things holding him in. Right. How am I going to get... I think, actually, he might be okay to pull. There is a little rope here that is around his belly. Right, let's try and figure this out, because this is all seems quite easy to pull. I can get all this off, but it's a lot of fiddly. A lot of fiddly. Right, give me just a moment while I try and pull off all the sellotape and all of the annoying little fixtures, so if I can get him out. And then bang. Sweet. Right. That's the two main things there. So I'll tell you what we'll do is now we'll get the heads out. So this is the head for where he's eating the crisps. So he's flying around, and that is actually quite flexible. I don't know if you guys can quite see it in the frame there. But his face is basically the face where he's flying around the spaceship, trying to catch each and every crisp in the air, so that it doesn't go into the machinery. I'm going to pop that just down there for a moment, and then we'll pull out his other face, which is it's kind of like a surprised face, or like a ooh, there's some food by there kind of face. This hair is very squidgy, very movable, and quite detailed. I gotta be honest, this is very, very cool. So I'm not quite sure what he's doing here. Could be whistling, could be thinking about food, could be, it could be saying ooh, for all I know. But that is quite a hefty little head by there. Then we got the rod of uranium. Again, it is just a small piece of green plastic. But I don't think you could have a Homer Simpson without a rod of uranium. And then we got the bag of potato crisps, or potato chips. Sorry, I'm from the UK, so crisps for me, chips for you guys, but this is a packet of potato chips. These aren't open, so these ones are a sealed pack of potato chips. But then, as you can see on this side here, which I'll get out in just a second, because they're really going to be quite fiddly and they're going to go everywhere, are the actual potato chips. I'll try and be wary of saying the right words. And then we've got some hands that we can alternate in and out. This one, I think, will hold the uranium, if I'm not wrong. So let's try and fit that into there. Kind of, not really. I could push that harder, but I would probably break it. So I'm not going to do that. So let's pop that back by there, and we'll get out another hand. Here we go. That is an even more tight hand grip, grippy hands. I'm assuming, so these two are the same. And then when I get out the other two hands, I assume these are also going to be the same. Let's get the pin again so I can get this out. And then get this one as well. Sound. And then, so these two are also the same hands there. As you can probably see. I'm trying to get the things in the shot of the camera is in a very weird angle. It is the same angle that I used in the most recent video, but it is just where it's above me and kind of at an angle. I'm never quite sure if everything's in shot. And then before we do get the Homer out himself, there is something down here that I'm not sure what it is. I haven't actually looked at it, and I haven't had a chance. I assumed it was a stand, but the more I look at it, the more I think it isn't a stand. It's something else. So let's see what it is. It's the ants. It's the ant farm. Oh my days. So if you remember correctly in the episode, he's got, I think one of the things that happens when the crisps come out is he ends up flying into the ant farm, and all of the ants start flying out. So there is the ant farm. I will try and get some better shots of all of this so that you guys can see it in a bit of a better light. But there is the ant farm right there, and it's see-through, and it's got some little ants in there. That is really actually quite cool. I thought it was a stand. I didn't think for a second they gave us the ant farm. That is so sick. That is actually really quite cool. Right, let's pop that down by there as well, and then let's try and get out. I tell you what, we'll do crisps first, or chips, sorry. Sick. That worked out really well. And then here are the chips. They're tiny, so these are very losable. But here are the chips. If you're well inclined and clever, you could try and rig up all of these chips and then change his head into the head by here where he's trying to eat them all. and try and recreate that scene. I don't know how I'm not going to lose those crisps, if I'm being honest with you. Chips, come on, James. Right, there is everything else other than Homer himself. So let's try and figure out how we get him out. I can see there is something holding him in place. There is multiple things holding him into place. So let me try and get everything off him so that we can get him out. Oh my days. Right then, let's pop him down for a moment. I don't know if he's designed to come out of the box and go back in the box, to be honest with you. That is a very nightmarish thing. I was very scared. Right then, here we have our Homer. And I tell you what, this is so cool outside of the box. This is absolutely amazing. Right then, so how do I make sure that is, because if you look, I don't know if you can quite see it, his head, so if I put the helmet straight to you, the head is just looking off to his right. So I don't know if that is a design flaw or if that's on purpose, but it's not quite straight with the helmet, which isn't the end of the world. It isn't the problem. But I thought that maybe that might be an issue. I'm trying to figure out now, do I twist it or do I pull it? Because I don't want to break it. Let's try and twist it. Okay, there you go. So his head here is held in place. By the looks of it, actually, that might be an extra piece of plastic. It is. That's an extra piece of plastic. Okay, so let us pull his head. Oh, that's honestly so scary. I'm honestly terrified. I've never had one of these before, so I don't know if this is normal to just pull his head off. Or do I twist it? Oh, my days. What do you do? I'm so scared. Insert brain here. Yo, I tell you what, they've thought of absolutely everything. That is so cool. Right, before I pull his head off and break him, I'm going to try and get some poses with him. So let's have a look at just how poseable he is. So you do have a rotation on his arm that basically is just up and down or round and round, but then you can pull it closer to his abdomen, but not very far. Obviously, he is quite a chunky fella, so you don't expect him to be able to move too much. But his arms do come out a bit more than they are showing, and then you can bend his arm in. As much as it looks quite poseable, I think it's a little bit less poseable than I might have imagined. He's poseable enough, like you can get movements out of him, but I think maybe because he's new, he's still a bit stiff. But his legs, if you look at the back of his legs, there's quite a long, I don't know what you'd call that, like a hinge, essentially. So it looks like his leg can bend quite a lot, but then trying to bend his leg, it doesn't seem the most happy to bend. So I'm not gonna push it. I'm not gonna stress the toy out any more than I am. But either way, I mean, that is pretty epic. I do want to pull his head off so we can get some action shots. But generally, I mean, this is quite a cool little toy. Let's try and pull out his hands. I think it is just a matter of being rough and being brave. And I'm not very brave when it comes to stuff like this. So let's try and pull his hand out again. Oh my God. His hand's so small that it's trying to get a grip on it. Genuine, truth be told, I've been trying multiple ways to pull out his right hand. I can't get it out. It is fixed in there, very much so. And I'm scared that if I really try and pull it, I'm just going to end up pulling out the rod. And then breaking this part inside of him. So I'm not gonna do it, but I will change his other hand. And what we'll do is we'll put an open hand into his hand, because I think that'll be quite cool. Bam. Is that in fully, or is it clicking twice? Definitely do not know. It feels like it'd go in again, or it looks like it'd go in again. I'm not sure, if I'm being honest. If anyone has any of these Super 7 toys, please explain to me what I'm going wrong here, because I think I'm either being too light or I'm scared. I'm not sure what it is. But if you look, his hand doesn't quite look like it's all the way in. So let's try and push it in just one more step. It doesn't want to go. Right, I'm not going to push it. But now he does have a open hand. And I mean, it is what it is. I'm not gonna stress it out any more than I am. But I do want to try and get his head off so that we can get some action poses, because I want to try and make him look like he's eating his chips. But that's going to be quite a difficult thing. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pull his head off. I do want to double check with this one here that it is just a matter of, it is just a matter of pulling, I think, which is absolutely terrifying. Oh my God, that was scary. Oh my days. Right, okay. Insert brain head here. Great. Now let's put on Mr. Eating the potato chips and pop his head. Oh my God, you've got to use so much force. It is terrifying. Whoever designed these, great job with the image of it, but they should have made it a little bit easier to pull the heads on and off, especially because you have 3 heads, so you'd assume people want to change it multiple times, but I feel too scared to do it again. There is his head where he's eating the potato chips, so I would personally, I would like to be able to lift his hand higher to make it look like he's trying to like outstretch his hand to try and get the potato chips. To do that, I think I'm going to have to put him under way more stress than I'm willing to put him under. So that's a bit frustrating. But generally, I mean, this is very cool. I almost feel like it's better to look at than to get it out of the box, which I wanted to get him out of the box anyway because I wanted to put him in different scenarios. And like I said, I want to try and maybe make a stop motion with him. Whether or not that's going to be possible, I do not know. But once you have things in place, I mean, they're sturdy as hell. They are sturdy as hell when you have them in place. But it is quite scary changing all of the things on him without feeling like you're going to break something. And that to me is quite a concern. So if you're going to get one of these, I would probably suggest you keep it inside the box. But generally, other than that, it is a very cool collector's piece. Oh, wait there. So this arm is going up quite a lot. Maybe I'm just being a wimp. Ha! Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm just being scared. Right, okay. So there we go. So you can now have him in floating Homer phase and then have some potato chips floating in the air that he's going to go nom, 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 nom. That is absolutely sick. That is absolutely cool as hell. You got, like I said, the whistle face Homer or whatever the hell he's doing. He's definitely saying ooh. And then the insert brain head here, which I think is a nice little bit of touch. I gotta be honest, I think that's a great touch. There's also a weird little mark on the top of his head. I don't know if you can see that. I'm not sure if that is intentional, but there does seem to be like a little bit of a scar at the top of his head. It almost feels unintentional. And can you put this back on? I know obviously this head isn't for this. No, you can't, which is fair enough at the end of the day. That isn't the correct head for it. But I was obviously wrong earlier on in this being the wrong way round because his head is fixed inside of it anyway. So you can do whatever you want. I'm actually getting more and more impressed the more I'm playing with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go away. I'm going to try and make some poses. And then we'll get some action shots in here. And then we'll call it a day. But other than that, very, very cool, very, very fidgety, very, very scary to play with initially. I think this definitely isn't a kid's toy. If it was a kid's toy, it probably wouldn't come with pieces that are this big. But generally, I think this is a very cool collector's piece and probably would suggest you keep it inside the box. Other than that, I'm going to get some action shots, but I'm going to leave you guys to it. Thank you very much for joining in today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. And yeah, I appreciate you all for stopping by, and thank you very much for the last week. Honestly, it's been an insane week. Yeah, crazy, crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the next one.
I hate Every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. No, you'll never make a monkey out of me.
If you enjoyed that video, why not subscribe?
If you enjoyed that video, why not subscribe? It'll help me and Natty continue to do the work that we're doing, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Thanks!